If you've ever been interested in working with me in a coaching capacity, I want you to follow the series that I'm creating this week. One of my coaching clients who books session by session and not a package, I offer a lot of different arrays and a lot of different services for a lot of different people to meet a lot of different needs, because to me, it's about meeting you with where you are and where you're at. But they booked a week of Voxer with me to trial it out because it's something they think they want to use in their business. This is a person who's a clinical therapist and a coach. And I don't say this a whole often, but I work with a lot of different types of providers. I work with doctors, I work with nurses, I work with social workers, I work with clinical therapists, I work with all these different types of people. They have something, I have something they like and they want to learn more. And I also love business coaching and consulting. This is one of my niches. I don't market it this way because the real niche that is mine is perfectionism. It's high achievers who feel stuck, who feel burnt out, who feel functional depression, who feel over anxious, who are just living in this life but not sure that they're living the life the way that they want to be living. And I am the coach that I wish I had when I was going through an autoimmune condition, a ton of grief and loss, coming out of a job that I thought was going to be my forever job and wanting to create something new and sustainable. And now I'm living in the life that I actually really, really, really enjoy and in the career that I'm obsessed with. All this to say that this week I am going to post every single day a video about what I'm talking to my clients this week on Voxer to give you a taste of like how this works. Now, I've had comments on my post saying like, wow, poor coach, like you're available 24/7, like where are your boundaries? I get like most of my day to myself. And I have a small toddler, and this is so accessible to be able to wear headphones sometimes and just listen to something that somebody's coming from when they're asking for a resource or help or a sentence that's going to help them reframe something. It's not what you think it is. Plus, I work with a type of population who is also working a full-time job, is really busy with what they're doing. So here. So for this specific client and I, this morning we talked about our setup for the week. I gave her some rules and boundaries with Voxer. Things like, hey, don't leave more than a 5-minute message because there's a lot that gets lost in translation there. Break it up. Just pause. Start a new message. You can leave me a series of messages. That's okay. I'll get to them when I can. Also, we set up what do we want to work on? Like, what do we really want to talk about this week? And I'm going to push her into creating content, into figuring out what her funnels are, into what she wants to do for setting up a coaching program, possibly. I'm going to push her on that. At the same time, I sent her some cute pictures of my weekend, and she told me a little bit about her weekend, about her morning. That's part of the shared vulnerability. I am not perfect. I make mistakes all the time. Another thing that I'm working on with some of my coaching clients is related to health and wellness. So we're checking in to make sure you're getting your steps. Are you getting 30 minutes of movement a day? Are you drinking your water? Are you taking care of yourself? How are you setting boundaries at work? I keep you accountable for that. How are the relationships going at work? How are your interpersonal relationships going at home? I'm working with another client on setting boundaries with a family member, figuring out what that looks like. We may potentially be co-reading a book together so that I can be accountable for her in that journey. Another coaching client and I are doing somatic stuff. We're doing brain spotting. We're figuring out what her life is looking like since it's went through a huge alteration in the last year. All this to say, these are people that get to use Voxer all day long, and they meet me where they're at, and I start to figure out ways to help them be accountable and create value-aligned decisions. It's like life coaching, but in your pocket. So if you want to follow along, hang out with me this week. Sorry this was so long, but I feel like all this information was really relevant.